opinion moving forward. And so I feel like this topic is very timely, and that's why so many people are in the room to hear what's going to be discussed.
Are you coining a new term of mate tech right now?
Mate tech, I think so. But it's where it's at. And when I think about, as somebody that runs a management company, I'm always trying to solve problems. And the biggest problem in my organization is centered around maintenance, around labor, how we staff the properties, how we save money and reduce expenses. And this is where I really see the future of Optech concessions moving forward. So let's stop having me talk and let's actually get to our panelists. But what we wanted to do, so first off, if anybody has questions throughout the session, please raise your hand. Marlena's in the back, and I think she's got a microphone so she can come to you. There's nothing worse than coming to a session, have a burning question, and then 30 minutes later you can actually ask the question out of context. So we'd love to answer those questions as they come up. So we wanted to start a little bit debate style. So we have a topic around AI and automation, and both of those functions are actually quite different. So what I've asked each of the panelists to do is talk their perspective on one topic. So Matt, let's go ahead and start with you and talk about how you define AI within your organization.
Yeah, and when the photo came up of I jokingly call him Glitchy, the robot maintenance worker, that's actually AI. What you just saw, those two images, if you want to go back a slide real quick, that was generated by DALL-E 2, which is ChatGPT's image context, or text to image AI. Now, oddly enough, no matter how many prompts, I couldn't get it to create a killer robot AI. That's a little scary. But really, this is what a lot of people think AI in maintenance looks like. They really, truly believe that at some point there's going to be a knock on your door and a little robot's going to come and be like, "Hi, I'm here to change your garbage filter." That's not it. Not it at all. Not yet, at least. But AI and automation get bundled together, and specifically AI is a hot button topic that gets completely lumped into a generalized program. AI is nothing more than a term, and then there are hundreds, and I truly mean hundreds of subsets of AI. You have computer generative AI, you have computer imaging AI, you have what we call narrow AI, which is probably what we're all most, or weak AI, also what we're most comfortable with. That's your Siri, that's your Alexas of the world. And then you have a natural language processing AI, which is used in a lot of the chatbot features that we see now, or virtual assistants that you see now. AI really rolls up into automation. Automation, for me, is the broader term, and then AI is a subset of automation. One of the things that if you would have asked me 10 years ago, what is AI and what is it going to replace, I would have told you absolutely 100% it's blue-collar jobs. Truck drivers, maintenance guys, etc. The reality, and scary enough for me, and maybe Jennifer, maybe Amy, is it's not that. In fact, we think AI replaces first white-collar jobs. So there is a subset of AI called expert systems AIs. Those are the groups that are creating AI that recognizes cancer cells earlier, recognizes financial trends and analyzes those trends and makes recommendations. So expert systems really, in my opinion, is the next frontier of job replacements. We are not in a position quite yet to see Glitchy show up and install drywall on a turn. We can definitely leverage AI with existing human capital, but the idea that you're going to replace people very quickly on the maintenance side, I just think is a non-starter. One of the things that I leverage a lot, and we'll get into this, is machine learning AI. And this is a little bit of a difference here. These are not pre-programmed redundant codes that are being generated and then the computer goes out and just does the code process. This is a truly learning and growing and adapting program. As an example, there was a chess playing AI called AlphaZero. And all the programmers asked it to do was play against itself with a strategy to win. That was the only goal. No pre-program, no grandmaster sitting with it developing a strategy. play against yourself with the sole strategy to win. What was scary was not only did it do things to win, but it went against the norm. It actually sacrificed the queen, and it still won. And in fact, no human to this point has beaten AlphaZero. Again, no pre-programmed setup, nothing along those sides. How about you just go win? That's what true AI does. And I said this in our meeting, not to be terrifying, but AI for me is and truly is the next Manhattan Project. If we get it right, a lot of good things can happen, and there can be peace, and there can be development. We get it wrong, it's going to be bad. Question.
This has nothing to do with part of the management, but that story about the fast food chain. What is Las Vegas doing about AI?
Right.
What are these guests at these hotels and casinos? They could be walking in here and cleaning up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, like, let's talk afterwards. I got to get a kid through college at some point, so I may need to partner with you. But yeah, so very interesting.
Great. All right, Amy, over to you. Let's talk about automation.
Yeah, so I do think that automations get maybe credit as AI a lot of times when really it's just an automation. If I want the same outcome in the exact same unit across every single part of my portfolio, if this one condition is met, that's just an automation. We might have an advanced automation where we've set in a few layers. If you rate this a fair, I want you to now do this. That's still an automation. So I love how you really went in depth on learning, predictive, and analytical element. That's where an intelligence comes in for an artificial intelligence. So I think that we have a lot we can do with automations. And we can bring a lot of efficiency, and we can work a lot smarter instead of harder. We can avoid overtime, we can avoid overwork, we can avoid burnout a lot easier when we have thoughtful approaches and use the technology at our fingertips today in a better new way with automation. So that for me is the difference with AI and automation.
Fantastic. So let's dig in a little bit further. So I'd like for you guys to talk a little bit about how you're actually leveraging AI and or automation within your organizations and how you chose what to focus on first.
Yeah, I can jump in on this. So we are using a lot of automation. So we rolled out a mobile maintenance platform years ago, 2016, 2017, we started going portfolio wide. And there were a lot of things we thought we would have challenges with, like maintenance and service teams really adapting to the use of their phone for mobile maintenance. But that really wasn't an actual issue in the field for us when we rolled this out portfolio wide. But what the unintended consequence that we found was awesome is that I don't think our teams were just working faster, but we were able to record what they were actually doing in more close to real time. So across our portfolio, before implementing a mobile maintenance platform, our service request open time was about 75 hours. And even though our policy said 48 hours to close it. So that it wasn't, but then we found out it wasn't our teams not doing the job in the right amount of time. It was the breaks in communication and the delays in the paper process that we didn't realize how long it really was. Just after installing or implementing the mobile maintenance platform, we went from 75 hours on average to about 40 hours immediately, like the next time we did analytics 6 months later. So it was awesome to see that paper process, that manual, like office person has to enter the work order, turn it into paper, print it out, hand 2 copies, give it to somebody, let them know it's there. When they come in from their lunch break, they can get a new set of work orders. All of those things equated to over an entire day of delay. And so one thing that was also really amazing is that residents were noticing how much faster things were getting done, and they were putting compliments and comments that our service team members got to immediately receive. So how many times, I'm guilty of this, taking the phone call, getting such a glow up message that I should really relay to my service team and being like, that is so kind of you to call. and then either forgetting to tell them or telling them much later, right? So it's so nice that they could get a thumbs up, they can get a like, they can get a message that's like, I really appreciated this. And that gives them more quality in their work and more like checks on their boxes. So
Yeah. No, I just love that you referenced blow up. I was like, yeah, that's absolutely true. So I actually started in maintenance. I was a porter to begin with, wildly underqualified porter, and I've said that multiple times now. But one of the things that was extremely frustrating to me was to get a work order, be in a hurry. I live in Arizona. It's 112 outside. You don't want to be outside longer than you need to be. And going into the unit and then realizing I don't have a part. The work order's incomplete. It says sink clogged in a 3-bedroom. Which sink, right? So now we're cutting into our time and our ability. And again, I truly had the best efforts to try to make this work order quick, efficient, limit the impact to the resident. That's critical for me. I want to get in, I want to get out. I don't want to leave muddy footprints. I don't want to leave a bad handprint. But all of these things added to time and delay and also added to my own frustration. So AI can be utilized to develop that interaction where we're getting more information earlier, we're able to better plan and process. One of the things that we utilize AI for is attempting to reduce insurance costs. Good luck, because that's not happening anywhere ever. But
maybe you can just avoid the additional increase.
Right, the
next
additional
year.
increase, yeah. Come on, not 28%. But you really deploying water sensor detections, smart home automations. Those are things that we're doing, trying to leverage things that, and again, AI is never off. AI never has a bad day. I dropped my kid off at kindergarten once and he cried and I felt terrible. I didn't have a great day. AI is not doing that. AI is not at Optech hanging out right now, talking to you guys, but AI is never off. That's the power. It's always there. It's always working in the background. And that's where we really need to leverage as an industry, that this can create lasting and long-term effects that big, major concerns are not going to be a problem. That's where we see the value.
We have a question?
Thank you. I got 2 questions for Amy. Going back to the acknowledgement and accolades that your team started getting, did you see a reduction in turnover and improvement in overall attitude and performance and engagement from the employees?
We got so many great responses from the service teams, and it was so exciting. There were times where we were able, because of the reporting available to us as well, do some shout outs and spotlights. So at BH, we do what's called State of BH, and so we're like the whole company will shut down. We get to hear from our top leadership, one of them right there. And then we get to do shout outs and spotlights, right? So one of the things that was really cool is because we had these thumbs up from residents, the comments from residents, we were able to see across the portfolio who had the highest percentage of satisfaction and give new accolades in front of the whole company now, saying, I want to say Raul did this amazing job, and they all agree. He's got a 98% approval rating. And so not only did they hear it immediately and we heard it from them, we were able to then translate it into